I've always found it interesting the way Gonzo shows up carrying those little bits of things he finds outside. He walks in with something in his mouth, stops near the doorway, sets it down, and looks at me for a moment before moving on. That gesture has always been part of our routine, but it was only when I attached a tiny camera to his body that I realized how much more intentional it seemed. And the camera pulled me straight into his world. The image sits so close to the ground that you can see the rough texture of the cement, the light slipping through the rusted legs of the patio table, the tight spaces he walks through without hesitation. It feels like following someone who always has somewhere to be, even when the path looks completely random. We also have a calico cat living with us, and she shows up often in these videos. Sometimes she's stretched out on the bed, resting, and Gonzo approaches quietly. She watches him, adjusts her posture, and every now and then gives him a quick lick on the nose. The camera captures this with a closeness I'd never see on my own. They have an easy kind of coexistence, almost like a soft pause between his outdoor adventures. But it was outside the house that the camera started revealing a pattern I hadn't fully noticed. Gonzo wandered around the neighborhood carrying these objects, bits of plastic, leaves, small things he found along the way. Across several recorded days, he repeated the same behavior, picking something up, walking with purpose, scanning the area as if looking for a specific spot. And then Simone appears. She shows up in the footage the same way every time, calm but attentive. Simone has lived in the neighborhood since our neighbor adopted her, and she had been a street cat before that. Her movements are more reserved, and you can sense that in the way she positions herself. The camera shows Gonzo approaching her with one of those objects, placing it on the ground, and waiting for some kind of response. Sometimes he gets a little too close, and she sets a boundary with a quick swipe. Other times she simply walks away as if it just wasn't the moment. One of the clearest scenes happens under the neighbor's house. Gonzo goes in, grabs a plastic bag, and walks back out with it. The camera follows every step. When he emerges, he looks straight toward the spot where she usually sits. She isn't there. He lets out a small, short meow and stands still for a moment, as if checking the space one more time. Over time, clip after clip, it became impossible to ignore who those little gifts seemed to be meant for. The camera revealed that it wasn't just about collecting things or bringing them home. There was a direction to the routine, a fixed point, a presence. Simone, not as a declaration, but as a pattern. A repeated movement, a quiet, persistent gesture that the camera captured more clearly than I ever could from a distance. The calico at home is part of the calm in-between moments. But outside, Simone is the one who shapes his path. Now, when Gonzo shows up with another one of those unlikely presents, I see it differently. The camera showed me that each object he carried often had a destination, even when the recipient wasn't always there to receive it. And maybe that's what I love most about all this. Noticing that while I was trying to understand what drives Gonzo, he'd been leaving clues all along.